Set is good. All right. We'll go this way. So this is basically where, when you're coming into the Capitol, you come through security right here. The Capitol Police security will be in that office. That's our break room over there. We still have 3 officers. We're trying to get their badge numbers for a complaint that was filed. But we're not going to focus too much on that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the Capitol, and I'm going to show you basically a daily routine that you can do in your own state capital. If you want to come here to Oklahoma Capitol, if you're trying to get the stratospheric aerosol injections, the military's poisoning of our skies to stop, the people in here are the ones who are supposed to stand up and take care of that problem. So we're going to go and do our best to provide notices today. Now, we had an event today. It was really neat. I got to film a couple of new inventions and things that have come out. This kid just made a really sweet thing. And we'll just go through, and I'll just start here. They have Capitol tours all the time coming through here. So you can actually host your own tour. You can come out and do your own tour yourself. You can bring your family out, where you can sign up and have them give you a tour. Now, their tour is going to go around and deal with the history of Oklahoma, the governors, the mansion, the palace here that we're standing in, how much marble, yada, yada, and then the different cultural aspects of the Capitol, because it is very inclusive. Our tour is a little bit different. This is where the kings and queens are, and the people elected the kings and queens. And so we're living under the kings and queens, and we're trying to get the kings and queens here to do their job and eliminate Title 50 for the state itself, for the governor to declare an emergency session, because evidence has been provided that the United States military is using poisons against us, chemical agents and biological agents, and directed energy weapons. So let's go through here. Now, when Governor Stitt was asked about that specific thing, he has no plan, even with the evidence that the military is doing this to us. He has no plan. And when you look up Title 50, subsection 1520A, it has a PrEP Act, and that allows the United States military to disperse those stratospheric aerosol injections. Most of you know them as chemtrails. Some of you believe they're contrails. The contrail is a con. They're not contrails. These are actually poisons that we've been getting dispersed with for decades. But now it's all over. It's not just a few states. All 50 states are reporting this across the globe. Spain, Germany, China, Russia, all of our quote-unquote allies and enemies, they're doing it too. Now, this is a United States Antarctica project. So this is a military weather weapon system. And we're here on behalf of Western North Carolina because Oklahoma NEXRADs were used in conjunction with 100 other NEXRADs to steer Helene up into coveted land. There is trillions and trillions of dollars worth of investments in lithium mining and the silica up there. And it also had a third component with Asheville being signed up to become a smart city. So they basically killed 3 birds with 1 stone when they steered Helene up into Western North Carolina. Now, the governor was provided evidence that the military deployed weather weapon Helene against Western North Carolina, and that Oklahoma University, the Oklahoma NEXRAD towers were part of that unit. We've shown you guys that video where you see the frequencies, the magnetic, the microwave bursts that are coming off of these NEXRAD towers. That's a directed energy weapon. And so the very sky poisons they spray us with, you have HARP, which is, if you read the book, Angels Don't Play This HARP, you'll understand this is all part of a weather weapon system. It's no longer top secret, but what they're doing is trying to keep the civilians from developing unrest. They don't want us going at their palaces like we're doing here. They don't want us confronting the governors, the senators, the legislators. They don't want us to confront law enforcement. Everyone I confront is directly related to the United States military deploying weather weapons against us. They murdered a lot of people in North Carolina, and we have families that when we left the disaster zone, we said we would go and address these weapons that caused that storm to both form and then spin over them until it dumped 30 trillion gallons of rain in an hour. It's insane. And you're seeing these record-breaking winds, you're seeing record-breaking tornadoes, you're seeing all these things because the military is playing God with the weather. And no one down here seems to have the balls or intestinal fortitude to say, I don't consent. Now we have 2 individuals, including myself, that has official complaints with the Oklahoma City FBI. The governor is aware of this. The senators and legislators that we're going to go up to today to give them this is a public notice we're going to be providing. We are going to have to establish our own National Weather Service alert system because we're going to destroy the next RADs if they don't shut them down themselves. We have no choice. We have provided all the evidence, and we have provided our non-consent, and the governor himself says he's not going to address the weather weapons that are being used against us. Now remember, these weather weapons can be sent to your community at any point in time. Nothing special. You're not protected. The new HARP facility they have in the Arctic, per Raytheon and Lockheed Martin whistleblowers, people that's come out within the military-industrial complex, have warned you guys that they're playing God with the weather, and now they have a massive weapon built in the Arctic, and it's a lot bigger than what you know about that's up in Alaska where HARP is. So NOAA, the National Weather Service, Oklahoma University, General Dynamics, these entities have 3 directed energy weapons at their campus down in Norman, Oklahoma. Most people call those Doppler radars. And they believe that Doppler radar is what's going to provide you an advanced warning to a system that's coming your way. Thunderstorm, tornado, and people have grown accustomed to rely on these. The problem is, these military-industrial complexes, including the Israel military, they have weather weapon components that's all part of the system. So we have a global military cooperation. Within a Doppler radar, they embedded directed energy weapon technology, and what they did is they put a weapon that we rely on safety for alerts for storms inside what we need for safety for alerts for storms. It's put inside our infrastructure, just like your LRADs are put up on the cell towers. Most people know you cannot take a drone directly to a lot of those towers because it'll melt and it'll drop down. These are all military weapons that's been put in our infrastructure. No one's consented to them except DC politicians said under Title 50 the United States military can poison us. Now, I don't consent. There are people that are coming with me tomorrow that don't consent. We've already told the governor we don't consent. We've already had their chief of security and law enforcement try to intimidate us at one point here. They know we don't consent, and we're going to get the rest of their badge numbers. We're also not here to pick a fight. We're here to give them notice. If you don't shut these weapons down, then we're going to shut them down ourselves. And I've already told the FBI in 4 hours of interviews, and they still cannot provide me one law I would be violating if I was to destroy a weapon that's being used against me or my neighbors. And these are, in fact, weapons, my friends, and the government patents, they prove it, the whistleblowers prove it, and the very storms you're seeing today when so many of you are dying, your loved ones are having their lands devastated. That's because the military is playing God with the weather. We're the guinea pigs. You're absorbing high levels of nano dust. You're absorbing high levels of barium, of aluminum, of sulfides, of magnesium. These things that are dispersed have gone across our entire ecosystem. All of our water is testing high for barium and aluminum in ungodly numbers, but there's a big quiet. They want you to stop talking about, or they want you to worry about getting fluoride out of the water, which is important. Because you're going to absorb more of the metals in your body if you have fluoride. It actually helps you absorb way more aluminum. So removing the fluoride from the water is very important. But once again, what's most important is stopping the military from poisoning our skies and playing God with the weather. Now, we've been very peaceful coming in here. We haven't had no issues except for security decided they was going to start following me after the governor's press conference last week. So a week ago today, I asked him directly about how they killed SB 430 and what he planned to do about the U.S. military's use of these sky poisons against us and the directed energy weapons. He has no plan. If you're in Oklahoma, Governor Stitt doesn't have a plan to protect you from what the military is unlawfully doing to you right now. In fact, he wants you to worship the military. He wants you to sign up to serve in the military. He wants you to praise the military. And we're trying to tell you to praise Jesus, praise God, because you got a bunch of wolves in sheep's clothing in this building. SB 430 was never meant to see the light. So many of you in Oklahoma, you've been calling about the chemtrails, the stratospheric aerosol injections, and the military's weapons being used against us. They hear you. But what they do is they put together a bill to get you to sit down and shut up so you're not up their butts anymore. And that's what happens. Everybody that was making the phone calls, well, now there's a bill that's going to be put up. And then they kill those bills. They don't get out of committee. It is Republicans who led the charge to kill SB 430, and some of them have investments in these military companies that are part of this weather weapons system. If you look up the United States Antarctica Project and the Antarctica Treaty, and you research HARP, you research NextRad installations, Uniscorp got that contract. They beat out Raytheon. We already know what Raytheon and Lockheed Martin does. We already know about the directed energy weapons that are starting the fires. Your NextRad tower installations are what's going to increase or decrease the winds. That's why you're going to have record-breaking winds. They've synchronized all the NextRads, and there's over 200, but they'll tell you there's like 170. They have over 200 of these directed energy weapons that are just installed across the nation. They're all synchronized now. And that's why you're seeing the radar data that we've been providing you. It's irrefutable evidence. The military's playing God with the weather. They're poisoning our skies. And Governor Stitt wants you to forget about Title 50, U.S. Code, subsection 1520A. Because that PrEP Act gives the military to poison the skies, and Governor Stitt doesn't want you to know that they've authorized the military to use us as guinea pigs. And until you come down to the Capitol and until you give them your non-consent, then you are complying and you are consenting, and you will continue to get sick, and you will watch your children get sick. You will see respiratory illnesses come up. This is what they're doing. And you have to do something besides letting them herd you in, give you some fake bill that they never intend to see the light of day just to shut you up. Those of you that were making the calls at Governor Stitt's, now you know he's betrayed you. You should be outraged. And we have people that are coming out here tomorrow to join us, and that's going to be really nice because they're going to be able to get their non-consent, and then we have public notices too. So we're going to go through. There's the captain. The captain's over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the offices, and I'm very calmly going to hand them the notice. Now, we're giving 3 notices. We have to build our own weather system, and there's some great ideas that God's shown us. Good. And we have this PDF for people who want to print it out, and then we quote 3 individuals who confirm that the military is playing God with the weather. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Donald Trump himself admitted that we were being sprayed with, that they weren't spraying in other countries. Those are all quotes available on our media channel that you can get. Usually I come up and I walk all around. I catch people with just random conversations. I've had people that's helped me inside this Capitol. There's been aides. We don't want everybody to think that just everyone in here is a bad person. People that know that the military is doing this, they're telling me. I know it's happening. Now think about that. They know it's happening. And they're in a palace. And they do nothing. And then they're telling us that we have to wait until next year for SB 430 to maybe be seen. And their excuse is saying that Kendall, who had drawn it up, they're saying that she didn't have all the information needed to convince other people. And that's just the most asinine excuse I ever heard. What more convincing do you need? You can look up and see the poisons with yourself. You know checkered skies. Did you see that as kids? And the military's own admissions that they're doing these programs, and Title 50, which authorizes them to do these programs. So going through, I do kind of have a loud voice, but people overhear me all the time. They know I'm talking about the military sky poisons. They know I'm here and I'm upset. They know the governor's refusing to do anything to protect us. That's his duty. And if he can't do it, he needs to step down. If he can't stand up to the military and say, stop poisoning my people, and shut down your NextRad towers that was used to murder people in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia, and Georgia. Remember all these states that lost lives. It wasn't just North Carolina. You know, we're here on behalf of Western North Carolina. But the governor should shut these weapons down. They should literally shut these weapons down instead of pretending like they're not happening. Because the federal authorization that we provided, I mean, that's the feds. That's the federal government, DC lawmakers who authorize this. And you need to look at everything that everyone authorizes. And you'll see we have no friends in DC. We have no friends in even these state capitals across the state. The United States Military Industrial Complex, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, the Boeing Company. I actually talked with someone earlier downstairs about the Boeing Company. These people did missile defense. And I brought up, did you know about the whistleblower that Boeing murdered? you know? And they're like, well, no, we didn't hear about it. Now, that was pretty big news. And it's not just that. It's you have a pattern of people who come out to provide information to expose how either the public's being robbed or how the public's being experimented on. Those individuals that come out end up dead. These people had no idea about the Boeing whistleblower being murdered, you know? And then it got conversation got a little different after that, because then they realized I'm reporting against Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, the Desert Research Institute, Los Alamos National Laboratory, Allergent Pharmaceuticals. Pay attention, because some of these chemical and biological agents that are being dispersed in our skies, those chemical compounds are built in these facilities. And we are the guinea pigs for this. Your wildlife, your crop, your soil, your trees, vegetation, everything is absorbing the poisons, because all the poisons fall down. What they put up there falls down on us. And we're walking around out there and we're already in a toxic haze in most places, and you can't see it because sometimes you're in the fog so much you forget you're in the fog. And that's what's happening. And it's only going to get thicker and more toxic, especially if this governor doesn't stand up and do what he's supposed to do to protect Oklahomans and protect all of you in Western North Carolina from these weapons being used against you again. Oklahoma's unique. It's the weather capital of the nation. The NOAA, the Radar Operation Commands for your next rads, all these facilities, all these weapon systems, these manufacturers they have out here. Very military-friendly state. And the governor's scared to stand up to the military and say, you don't have authorization to poison my people. You're not Governor Stick's people. Because if you were his people, he would be fighting for you. He wouldn't be silencing the press. He wouldn't be running from hardcore questions that actually affect every person in Oklahoma, nothing to do with politics. Where's the politics in this? The Republicans and the Democrats worked together to pass Title 51 so we could all be poisoned. And they can deploy space lasers. And for those of you who think that's a joke, go to mainstream media, because a lot of the outlets have already did segments on the directed energy weapons that are being utilized. Now, there are ground-based units that we've been explaining to the senators' aides and the representatives' aides, and our plan is to eliminate and destroy the ground-based units. None of these things are secured good, and you can eliminate those without harming anyone's life. So we have gone out and threatened to sabotage the military weapons they've embedded in our infrastructure. In order for us to do that and protect all life, we have to replace the alert system that the military operates. And that's going to be the people's weather. That is where everyone in Oklahoma and all these different counties are all going to have to get together and provide live weather reports for their neighbors. And it's going to have to spread out. And it's going to have to connect other states and borders together. Because once these NextRad towers are taken offline, doesn't matter how they're destroyed, they could be set on fire, they could be ran over with heavy equipment, they could have just their sabotage, malware. There's a lot of things that can happen. Our goal is to continue building up the support we're building, get more people inside Oklahoma University, more people that have access to this place. And that's it. And you're talking about the last and the least most people don't pay attention to. Your janitors, the ones cleaning your bathrooms, the ones emptying the trash cans, you know, the ones wiping counters. Those are the people who are tired of being poisoned too, and they're already within the system. So we've been showing the FBI itself how there are many ways we can get inside the system and destroy the directed energy weapons that the military is using. Most of these kids here, look at this. They had no idea the United States military is poisoning them. They have no idea. And their families, if their families knew what our children were breathing right now, then they would understand why there's so many more respiratory illnesses, why they have metals in their bodies. They don't consent either. And we have to fight for the next generation so they don't have to breathe these sky poisons anymore. Look up Title 50, U.S. Code subsection 1520A. Title 50, U.S. Code, subsection 1520A. It lets the military poison you, and it lets the military deploy directed energy weapons against you. They're going to do a tour here. We're going to move through out here. Now, imagine if you get 10, 12 of you a day at each capital doing exactly what we've been doing here. We've been on the ground in Oklahoma for four weeks now. We're going to be going on 5 weeks. And we've been pounding the Capitol, we've hit the FBI, we've hit these different Department of Energy, Department of Environmental Quality. We've hit all these people. We try to get the politicians to stand up. but none of them will. We've asked nicely. We've given them notice saying we're not going to keep doing it. The people's weather is important, but even if we don't get this set up because Oklahomans decide they're not going to take the responsibility to form their own weather alert system, we still don't have to comply. We don't have to comply and consent. We don't consent. We can literally still tear the weapons down. I just want to be able to show the FBI that I've done everything I could to make sure that people would be safe and their lives wouldn't be impacted. I know I can't knock down a cell tower to get the LRADs off. I know how they've embedded the equipment within the infrastructure that the American people rely upon. How do you extract that? We're going to have to do some wild, crazy things where people are going to have to take the responsibilities that come with their rights, because you don't have a right to blue skies unless you stand up and reclaim your right. They've authorized chemical agents, stratospheric aerosol injections. They're poisoning us without our consent. And most of you know this. So we're asking you to step up and do a little bit more. Now we're going to go up and go through. I'll have a lower tone. I'm going to go through. You can follow. I'll be giving these notices to different reps. Anyone that's available, anyone who has a door open, I'll be very quiet. I might have a conversation or two. I normally don't go in with a camera in their face, but Governor Stitt has escalated this. And the more pushback I see trying to get me to shut up, then the more I'm going to come out here. And it's just going to escalate my tactics. We're not going to back down. They will have to get that through their head. It's also important that you're always stopping. So for some of you, maybe you want me to go and move on so you can see more. That's not how it works. The more places that we stop, then people will listen, and then people are going to say. And then when we say stratospheric aerosol injections, instead of them looking up chemtrails, which will say it's a conspiracy, and then they see the military patents, they see the pyramid where they're playing God with the weather, And when you're going through just doing this, you want to get the message out. And this is one of the most easiest ways to do it, where people are overhearing you and you've done planting a seed. And then pretty soon people are looking up the laws that permit the military to do this, and people are looking up the chemicals that we're all absorbing. People are looking up the equipment that they're flying over and spraying us with. They're researching directed energy weapons and why nothing blue burns. Why does China put blue roofs all over their metropolitan areas now? Blue slats going up like no tomorrow. And then the wealthy and the elites and Scientology, some of these people with their blue buildings know full well about the directed energy weapons program. Some of their members are involved. They're in Raytheon. They're in Lockheed Martin. They're building this. They're experimenting on us while they test us. And we don't consent. Stratospheric Area 1 allows the military to poison our skies and deploy directed energy weapons against us, and they've been experimenting on us, and Governor Stitt doesn't want to address this problem. He says he has no plan, and he knows that this is an emergency. Every Oklahoman right now, you're choking on poisons from the United States military. And don't let them say geoengineering. Don't let them say the Silicon Valley and Bill Gates of the world. No. The United States military is playing God with the weather. The United States Antarctica Project is the operation from which they are playing God with the weather. And the United States Antarctica Treaty that's signed by all the other nations of the world, that's where they have global cooperation as they move towards a one world government, which is what they're doing. And you'll be brought in the kingdoms. Now this is the Senate. So I'm going to be very quiet. We got some people that we have a door open in here. We're going to go through. Now, when you come up through these places, I don't know how it is in some of your other state capitals, but Dave Rader was on the Department of Energy. And then Miss Thompson, was also part of the SB 430, the Department of Energy. So we already have recordings of them. Weapons offline ourselves. Okay. And we're going to have 2 more notifications. We're asking people we have to form our own weather alert system because they embedded the technology within the next rides that provide weather storm system updates. And as I told the FBI, I would find some way to destroy the equipment without causing harm to life, putting the public in a dangerous position. So we've done extensive research. We have the data. We have a great plan moving forward. If you could just let them know, we're not waiting for SB 430 to be brought up next year. We don't have time. You can look at the skies today. I mean, they're bombarding us. So thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty loud. I didn't want to be loud. You can pass that on, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I think I'm the copy of the Thank you. We're gonna go through and just do some quick drops. And I can be reached by the contact on there.
Got
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Had anyone tell me don't do it. None of these people have told me don't destroy a weapon. I told them I'm going to, and I told them I told the FBI I was going to, but not a single one of them tell me. Hold on a second. Any questions?
It's reconnected. Like it'll go off and reconnect. It'll
Yeah, if we get into some areas, the Wi-Fi is
Just
not
like
too
you
good,
know.
so
Okay.
it'll happen on and off.
Okay.
It'll be picked up outside. You just did that one, so. New one, this is the notices now. That's the 1 of 3. Thank you. Ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. One for each. Thank you, ma'am. You have a good one. Hey, Mr. Dawson, how you doing, sir? I'm doing great. Yep. See you guys. Yes, sir. Probably had some of those kids talking about stratospheric aerosol projections and directed energy weapons. Kids are curious, so don't be afraid to talk to your children about this and tell their friends that those aren't the same clouds we had when we were growing up. That the military is playing God with the weather, and we have to choke on poisons to allow them to play God with the weather. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. stop the sky poisons.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Alright, stop the sky. Okay, appreciate it.
Hey, check it out. You can have your own, Mr. Dawson. You want to take theirs? I want the reps to make sure they read that because that's official. Okay, thank you. They can throw it away. The whole point is to put them on notice. So Mr. Dawson's going around, and what he's going to try to do is find any representative who says I'm too aggressive, I'm threatening, they feel uncomfortable. Because the only reason why they started messing with me is when I asked it about Title 51 and requested him if he had plans to declare an emergency session. He's the governor, man. And speaking of the governor, we're going to go up to the governor's office too. So we got this one. Did we go in here? So we're going to go up. As we're moving through, if we're losing signal, it's not the best. This is a giant, big marble palace, so I don't imagine Wi-Fi gets through too easily in certain spots. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Just so you guys know, this is exactly how you'll do it. Go through, and you just saw me walk through it. If you're in Oklahoma, I know we have people that are coming tomorrow, Thursday, and then I'm going to basically do what I did on camera for you guys here, but I'll add a bunch of the other stuff we normally do, and we won't record all the conversation. A lot of the people support me out here. The people, from the janitors, even the security. I mean, there's quite a few highway patrol officers that's talked to me about my efforts to put the chemtrails out of the skies and the directed energy weapons down on the ground. I mean, we have to do something about this. There is more support for us trying to stop chemtrails than there is of those opposing us. The problem is you have conservatives that are in these high positions of power, and they have their trading investments with the military-industrial complex. Maybe they've been blackmailed because they did something. We still don't know about the Epstein list, and we know there's a lot of Republicans and Democrats on that. And there's a reason why that they're doing everything they can to redact and conceal the people that were involved with that. We're not going to get no solution if we wait for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to form a panel to tell us what we already know with the science, the soil samples, the water samples, and the air samples already proved to us. We don't need to see any more evidence to know that we're being poisoned. They told us they're poisoning us. They passed the laws and showed us that they were going to poison us. And if you look up at the skies, they're showing you that they're poisoning you. They didn't just tell you, they're poisoning your skies, our skies, everywhere we go. So we're going to go ahead and head down from here. I think this last one was for the governor's office. We'll come back and and then sometimes days we come here, the offices are open and they're closed. So you have to keep coming back, and eventually you'll be able to talk to every aide that's in this building. There we go. Sorry, guys. Connectivity issues. So, cafeteria, food's good here. French fries is like $3. Sammy and I love them. We get them a lot. Their coffee's good. Just about every day there's some event held in the Capitol. I've been here when the aeronautics event was held. Today there was manufacturing and inventors that were all brought together. We got some good film and pictures and stuff of that particular event. There's not a lot of media that covers any of the Capitol stuff unless it's like a politician that's, election interference or ethics complaints. I mean, we don't see a lot of the local media. They will come to the governor's press conference. That's it. Every one of you are allowed to come and access the governor's press conference. You don't need to have a press pass like me. You don't need to have that. You can go in without it. That don't make my First Amendment right any more stronger than your First Amendment right is. This doesn't give me any extra access any more than you have access to your public officials. Okay? This is nothing. This means nothing. All right? The only thing that we take when we leave here is our soul, and we want to take it up to our Heavenly Father. There are a lot of people that are afraid, and we're trying to break through the fear by boldly calling what this is. It's military treason. The governor is a traitor, and he won't defend us in Oklahoma. Governor Stitt is refusing to defend us in Oklahoma. He has surrendered your skies to the United States military-industrial complex, and he says for him and his house, he serves the Lord. Jesus Christ wouldn't have us choking on poison so the military can play God with the weather. Period. We're going to go ahead and close this out. If you guys are coming out here tomorrow, we're going to be here a little bit earlier. Thank you, guys. This is Louis Arthur with VOP News. Is there any questions or anything that anyone had? Then we can go ahead and close it out. Thank you, guys.